that you want to join the staff and come back and work with these young guys. And he said, I'd love to, but that he was tied into the Oklahoma Thunder pretty strong. But he said, Rick, what you need more than anything else right now is, he said, I've been following the ACC and the type of competition you're going to go against. You need somebody that flat out is going to be able to replace Kevin Keatts, who recruited the bulk of our players here. Richard and Kevin recruited most of the guys that have been in this program. And he said, you need to get yourself a great recruiter. So I immediately called Richard and said, ask around and give me 3 candidates that you think are the best in this game for what I need. And he came back and just gave me one name, and that was Kenny's name. And he said he'd be perfect for you. And I checked then with Kevin Keatts, and he concurred with Richard that Kenny was the ideal fit for what we need with our program going forward to compete against this type of schedule. So we're very excited to have Kenny and his wife Doreen here today and being part of the Louisville program. We talked about how special this place is. It's one of the great traditions in all of college basketball, and we talked about what it means moving forward. We've had so many guys move on with this program to greater heights. We talked about our bridge being very crowded, people crossing over with us here, and we're also going to bring back David Padgett as an assistant video person to groom him for that position when Doug leaves. So we've got a lot of things in place right now, a lot of work to do. We'll have a very busy summer with all our players. Montrez and Wayne are going to be our leaders next year. We've got 6 new players, and we welcome Kenny to our great tradition. I'm very excited to have him. I'll answer a few questions, then I'm going to leave it to Kenny and Doreen to answer these questions.
What impressed you about Kenny when you did get to start talking to him about the job?
Well, it wasn't a molecular biology.
You didn't get into that?
He tried to get into that with me, and I told him, let's just stick to basketball. You know, I wanted somebody who the players could look up to, and I told him we wanted a close relationship with our players at all time. And we are a very close unit, and I felt he would be somebody who would be a great mentor to our guys. He is someone out in the recruiting circles that everybody has great respect for because of the way he cared for his kids. He started out as trying to be a scientist, and then he goes on to be a high school coach, AAU coach, and started that AAU program in the DC area, and built that up along with his partners. And so he's done a lot of good things in the game of basketball, and I think he's someone exactly fit on needs of what we need here in this program to replace a very, very talented Kevin Keatts.
Do you think, Rick, the biggest difference back to the schedule stuff that is, you've been the height of the Big East and its heyday, and you got this ACC. What's different about the two? They're both great, but what makes the ACC?
I think one's in the South and one's in the Northeast. I think it's almost identical. You've taken Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, and now us, and combined it with the greatness of the ACC, and you have a mega conference that I don't think college basketball will see the likes. You know, and we've got very tough road. Our permanent partners are 2 top 20 programs, Virginia and Pittsburgh, going forward. I tried to, as much as I could, try to convince them that Miami would be a better fit 7 times a year on the road, but they didn't go for it. But you know, it's just very exciting because I've been through the Big East, and you know how passionate I am about that. But now I get to see places that I haven't seen before, like Florida State and Georgia Tech, and certainly Miami and Virginia and Wake Forest, places that we've never played before. Clemson, North Carolina State, all new. Duke. We've been to Carolina, but so it'll be very, very exciting. Our 2 permanent partners are the opposite style of play, so that should be interesting as well.
Coach, how important to get Kenny and to get him on board now as you head into this weekend, a recruiting weekend?
Well, it's very important. We need 3 players next year, and what we talked about is getting 3 players that play multiple positions. If it's a 4-man, he can swing to the 3 or the 5. If it's a 3-man, he can play the 2. If it's a 2, he can play the 1. We want guys, when you get 3 players, that can play multiple positions.
That's what you look for in an assistant. Has that changed at all over the years? I know you're looking for somebody who can be a total coach, but has their job changed as you look back over the years?
Well, recruiting is the lifeline, you know, and that was Ralph's point to me. He said, you know, you've got to get somebody, because Kevin Keats was Kevin Keats was responsible for bringing in Montrezl Harrell and Luke Hancock and Chris Jones. You know, he did a phenomenal job for us. So we recruit as a team, even though Kevin obviously had a tie to Montrez, putting him in. We got very lucky. You know, Kevin just happened to have he was helping Luke while he was at Hargraves to find another school, and then he got named head coach here, so everything fell into place with us. And Kevin was an invaluable person. And coming from the Indiana program, Tom Crean is a lot like we are in terms of preparation, in terms of scouting. So Kenny's been through that before, and that's great background for him as well.